On this edition of Defending the Kingdom, the Kansas City Chiefs get ready to go to New York/New Jersey to take on the Jets. We will have Jerick McKinnon in this show, and we'll explore why the Chiefs might be one of the more unique teams, if not the most unique offensive team in the entire National Football League. It's all brought to you by Ticketmaster. Holmes looking right, back of the end zone, caught, touchdown! Kansas City for the 48th time finds Travis Kelce 9 yards deep in the end zone, and the Chiefs lead 40-0. 3 touchdown passes for Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are trending for a lot of reasons, okay? But now they try to get a third win in a row. They head to the Gotham area, New York, New Jersey, to take on the New York Jets. And another question, are the Chiefs the most unselfish team in the National Football League? Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Defending the Kingdom, brought to you by Ticketmaster, your new best friends. With the best home schedule in the history of this franchise, the Chiefs head to New Jersey to take on the New York Jets. Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, along with senior team reporter Matt McMullen. We are going to explore the unselfishness of the Kansas City Chiefs and the unselfishness of this Chiefs offense. We're calling this all aboard, because everybody's getting a piece of this. But before we do that, Matt, let's go around the world.
Let's do it. So I have 5 for you. Once again, trying to get into a bit of a rhythm, doing 5 every week. I promise I'll get to everyone.
In honor of Tommy Townsend's 55-yard punt that went out of bounds by number 5 at the 3-yard line.
And what's so crazy about that is the Chiefs' offense was awesome on Sunday, right? But they punted on their first possession. All of a sudden, Tommy pins the Bears at their own 3-yard line. They can't get anything going. And the Chiefs' offense after that was unstoppable. But yeah, an incredible punt by Tommy. 5 in honor of him. So we have James reporting from Washington. His area is the home of the Tulip Festival in Washington. He's originally, though, from Kirksville, Missouri, where my grandma is from.
But he's not Washington, Kansas, or Washington, Missouri.
He's Washington State.
Yep. Okay.
Home of the Tulip Festival.
Gotcha.
Damien is from Nassau, Bahamas.
Ooh.
Beautiful place. I went there a few years ago. Carson is from Hutchinson, Kansas. Not too
Home of
far
the
away.
Salthawks.
Yep.
Or the Bueller Crusaders, or the Nickerson Panthers, or the Central Christian Cougars, or the Trinity Celtics.
Well, I'm going to test you on this one, okay? Steven is from Hillsboro, Missouri, home of the...
Ooh, Hillsboro, Kansas, the Trojans. Do you know this one? I mean,
I know the answer.
Yep. Hillsboro, Missouri. I don't know, Tigers. Trojans.
It's alliterative. That helps.
The Highlanders.
The Hawks.
The Hawks.
Yeah,
Like
home of the Hawks.
Hillsboro Hawks.
And lastly, we have a listener in Commerce, California. There we go.
Very good. There's another one, and he was reaching out. He's done it on Twitter a couple of times. James Rosenberg.
Yeah.
In the Sahara Desert.
That's awesome.
He's claiming the Sahara Desert for the Chiefs' Kingdom. So go get him, man. He says like near like the border of Morocco and Algeria. And then last night at the Chiefs' Kingdom show, a guy named Don Legursky showed up from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
All right.
He's been a lifelong Chiefs fan, never been to GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. He had to go. So he came to the Bears game, then came to the Kingdom show. He listens to Defending Kingdom, all of them, every word. So a shout out to Don Legursky, which is my younger brother and I would play football out on the farm. You'd make up names. Or this is like a Madden. Let's make up a name for Madden, right?
Yeah.
The 295-pound running back that runs a 3.5. It would be Don Legursky, feels like
Sure
that.
would.
So anyway, shout out to our folks around the world. It's awesome. This episode is all aboard. And what's amazing is how the Kansas City Chiefs are so unselfish, both offensively and defensively, but the way they spread the ball around. And you're going to want to be with us later in this podcast, because we will have the Jet himself, Jerick McKinnon. What better guy to have on against the Jets than the Jet himself? He is the epitome, Matt, of unselfishness.
He's been unbelievable. I mentioned this stat a bit later when we talked to Jerick, but this is truly mind-blowing. Since week 13 of last year, just 9 games, okay, not including the playoffs, that would be unfair. Since week 13 of last year in the regular season, Jerick McKinnon leads the NFL in touchdown catches with 10. The next closest players have 7. It's Devontae Adams, George Kittle, and Tyreek Hill. Jerick McKinnon's been unbelievable, but it's more than just the touchdowns. He's an incredible pass blocker. We talk about that later with Jerick. as well. And also, of course, the most unselfish play in Super Bowl history, sliding at the 1-yard line where he could have scored, but he had the wherewithal to not score and secure the victory for the Chiefs. Just an amazing guy. I call him the sneaky MVP of this team over the last 3 seasons.
Boy, that is so well spoken and means, man, just exactly that. Man, hard not to get emotional when I think about him sliding at the 1. All of it will be in the stat sheet forever will be just like an 8-yard run, no touchdown. But we all know what it meant, and it meant a Super Bowl championship. Here's another stat for you. And so far this year, the Chiefs have had at least 11 pass catchers in 2 different games. Since the beginning of 2022, that has happened for the Chiefs 5 times. Now, you ready for this? The rest of the league combined, 31 teams have done it combined 3 times. The Chiefs have done it themselves 5 times, including throwing to an offensive tackle because Donovan Smith had a catch. Like, I'm glad they didn't strip him of the ball, but still, it's crazy the way the Chiefs distribute the football.
The best part about that Donovan Smith catch is because the Jags declined the penalty, it counts. Now, I thought that penalty had a loss of down. I guess it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, so they declined the penalty because it was on 3rd down and it gained nothing because he was tackled on the play, but the catch counts. So even though Donovan Smith was an illegal receiver on the play, he has a catch now in his career. I love it because he wasn't expecting it, obviously, but he just caught it, like, no problem. And he's like, what? And then he gets tackled. But yeah, he has a catch now in his career. But Patrick Mahomes has talked about this in each of the last 2 off seasons when everyone's asking who's your number 1 guy going to be outside of Travis Kelce. And he always says it's going to be everyone. And he keeps showing that in the last couple of years where he's truly going to spread the football all over the place. And I think already through 3 games, we're seeing a lot of growth from this receiver core. Rashee Rice should have had 2 touchdowns on Sunday. He was so close. He was like a combined 3 inches away from having 2 touchdowns against the Bears last week. He had 5 catches for 59 yards. He looked really good at times. And Sky Moore, I think, is really coming along as well. Of course, against the Jags, he had that huge reception to seal the game, basically, the 54-yarder. Also had a touchdown against the Jags. Then last week, he had 4 catches for 42 yards. I'm loving what I'm seeing here from the Chiefs wide receiver core as they continue to grow in this offense.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But I figured this up. Of the eligible receivers who could have caught a pass in the first 3 weeks of the season, there's only 3 who didn't. One of those is Patrick Mahomes. Now, there was a lateral, but the double pass from McKinnon, but it's behind the line of scrimmage. That didn't count as a pass. Blaine Gabbert, okay, we didn't throw to him. And then Montrell Washington. He was eligible last week to catch a pass. He didn't, but hey, who knows? If he's the returner this week, why not give him – and Coach talked about him actually on the Kingdom Show on Monday night of saying, Montrell was a heck of a receiver at Samford, so hang on. And last year the Chiefs were on the cusp. You and I we were waiting every week, okay, because they were on the cusp of having the most people catch a touchdown pass in a single season. And the Chiefs were right there.
They were right there. And maybe it will happen this year as they keep spreading the football around. A fun stat for you. 6 players on the Chiefs have at least 10 targets so far this year. Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney, and Noah Gray. And several guys are sitting at like 9 targets right now. Only 2 other teams have more players with double-digit targets this year than Kansas City. And that's why this offense, we saw it in prime form against the Bears last week. They're so difficult to defend because you can count on so many different players to make plays in big moments. And I, again, just think as they continue to grow throughout the season, we'll see this offense exponentially get better and better. And maybe when there's like a 3rd and 9 at a crucial moment in a game sometime later this season, the defense doesn't know where the ball's going because numerous players in this offense have experience coming through in the clutch in those moments.
But it's also why Matt and I continually warn you, because most of the folks that are watching or listening to this podcast around the world play fantasy football in some way, shape, or form. The Chiefs will drive you crazy if you're trying to play fantasy football with one of their guys, other than Mahomes, maybe Kels, okay? Because you do not know who it is going to be week after week. It could be MVS this week, or it could be Sky Moore. And I like what you said about him growing. We'll get into that later in the podcast. But the fact is, you do not know. Now, for fantasy football, that's rough. For reality football, it's rough for the opposing team's defensive coordinators. You have no idea who's going to be involved.
And for those of you that stuck with Jerick McKinnon in your flex spot this week, he rewarded you with 2 touchdown catches. If you're like in a PPR league, that's pretty nice.
You know what? He might be the guy you would keep right there.
You just know it. 10 touchdown catches since week 13 of last year. It's nuts.
But here's the thing. If Jerick, and we're talking in a second here, if he doesn't get it, he doesn't mind. There's nobody clamoring for the football in this offense. And I just think the Kingdom needs to realize how rare that is, also in this day and age in the National Football League, that somebody's not chirping, I've got to have 12 targets. You've got to get me the ball. And we've seen this throughout the league. That does not exist here. And that's part of the reason why this team has been a consistent winner with Patrick Mahomes over the last 4 to 5 years.
And that really begins with Patrick and with Travis Kelce, two guys who are future Pro Football Hall of Famers, the two very best in the NFL at what they do. And they're two of the most unselfish people I've ever been around. Truly all they care about is winning. They just want to win. And when your two best players permeate that mentality, if you're a young receiver coming into the NFL, you see that and you're like, all right, winning means everything here. And if I just do my part, that's one thing that guys in both offense and defense talk about all the time is doing their 1/11th. If I do my part, we're going to have a great chance to be a really good team and to maybe win the Super Bowl and all memories forever. And we've seen that in years past. And to bring guys into this culture that we've built now, it's really cool to see how they respond to it and how they grow within it.
Another epitome of that is the guy that has shown courage to come back from 2 knee surgeries. They thought his career was done. He was good with the Vikings, really good. San Francisco, it never got off the ground. He's been phenomenal here. And yes, we're playing the Jets. So let's talk to Jerick McKinnon. What's the best way to beat the Jets? Put the Jet on the Jet to go play the Jets. It is the Sprayberry Yellow Jacket himself from Sprayberry High School in Georgia. The Jet, Jerick McKinnon. Awesome to have you with us on the podcast.
Appreciate y'all for having me. It's going to be a good one.
This is what a week to have you on, because you got back into the end zone last week with the 2 touchdowns. What was it like to get back in there and taste the sweet nectar?
It felt good. Any way you can contribute, especially to the win, it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to be a part of this team, be a blessing, be coached by these coaches, and, go on this tremendous journey for another run, for another Super Bowl.
So, Mitch, going back to week 13 of last year, so 9 regular season games, not including the playoffs, just week 13 to now, this guy has the most receiving touchdowns in the NFL. Did you know that?
Yes.
You have 10 receiving touchdowns since week 13 of last year.
We can't stump him, man.
Yeah,
people are sending me all these crazy little articles and facts, so yeah, they keep me updated a little bit.
The closest players, Tyreek, Devontae Adams, and George Kittle are all tied with 7 in that span. You have 3 more than the next closest player.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
I played with 2 of them, and I played against Devontae quite a bit. So to be in that category, mentioned with those guys, is definitely a blessing.
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome, man. And, of course, 2 on Sunday. Just how does it feel to be the guy that's been in the end zone more than just about anyone else over the last 9 months?
I don't really think about it too much. For me, it's just, finding a way to make an impact on the game. Whether it's offense, special teams, a block, whatever it is. So, can't argue with touchdowns. Never can argue that. But anyway, to contribute and help, like I said, it's a blessing.
Matt, I got to tell you a story. It was during the NFL draft, and there was a national stuff going on here, and I was at it with a group, and a graduate of Georgia Southern came up, and he said, well, we haven't had many NFL guys. We sure don't have any quarterbacks. I go, whoa, stop. And I had to show him your highlights.
Yes.
I'm like, here's one of your own, man, a Georgia Southern Eagle. But your background and how much that helped you, especially in the fact that you mentioned journey, and it has been quite a journey for you.
Yeah.
2 knee surgeries. Some people thinking, well, he had a good run, and now you're flourishing.
Yeah.
Why, how, and your background, how much did it help you?
The quarterback background?
Any of it.
The quarterback, in college, it just really helped me understand, I guess you could say schemes and, the overall structure of an offense. It wasn't as complex, of course, but anytime you can know what, the next man is doing, it definitely helps. You play faster and on another level. And then, just to comment on the knee surgeries, tough time, but, it's a blessing in disguise. We all go things for a reason, right? And I didn't really know how it would shape up or, what would happen next. But I remember after the second one, very emotional, and I was just like, if I get another chance, whatever it is, like, is what it's gonna be. Wherever team I'm on, they're gonna get everything, and then we'll go from there. We'll just take it a day at a time. Got the call from Kansas City, and like you said, everything else has just been next page. Been able to have some great success here, do some great things. So it's all a blessing, and it's all coming to the forefront. You know, all the work that I put in. You know, all the long nights, long mornings, all of it is just really just starting to. It's just showing. You know, the work that I put in, everything I put into it is showing, and everybody's seeing it. And you know, it's a great feeling.
We just need Coach Reed to dial up a passing play touchdown for you, right? Where you're throwing the ball. Because you threw the ball last week back to Patrick.
Load up a pass, yes.
Yeah, you can throw the ball. Like, are you waiting for that opportunity now?
It's coming.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
It's coming. I hope it's coming.
So the theme on this podcast is about unselfishness.
Mm-hmm.
That 14 different dudes have already caught passes, including offensive tackle, right? Donovan catches one.
Those guys can catch. You just see them Friday at practice.
I'm just glad he held on to the ball because
Yeah.
the Jags trying to knock it out of him there. But anyway, the fact that the unselfish nature of this team, you had, and I think as long as the Lord gives Matt and me oxygen on this earth, we will talk about the play that people will forget about down through the years. And maybe the most unselfish play in the history of the Super Bowl. You sliding down at the 1. You're not going to be in the scorebook, but except it'll be like an 8-yard run.
Yeah. That's a good average.
But the fact, that play, and the fact that you didn't score, but it was the greatest, maybe non-score in Super Bowl history, or one of the greatest. Walk us through that, the fact that I'm going to be unselfish here.
The play or just in general?
All of it, man. And just your heart to go, I'll go ahead and slip in here. We'll defend 7 points.
Yeah. Well, the mode that we were in was church mode. So church mode was get down at the 2. You know, keep the ball and, you know, waste the clock and then give the opposing team as less time as possible. So, you know, we're in a huddle and Pat calls church mode. And I'm like, okay, church mode. Normally we call church mode and it never gets to the 2. So I'm like, all right, we'll just see what happens. Got to play. Blocking was great. Got around the corner, and I'm like, oh, we're really about to do this right now. So I slid at the 2, and I'm just like, wow, that really happened. It happened all year to the very last game.
But, Matt, let's be honest. You're sliding. You get to the last blade of grass.
Oh, yeah, it was close.
I'm like, real close.
It was close. Coach Reed probably was holding his breath. I was like, just don't go in. Because if I go in, EB's going to have some words for me at the sideline. So I'm just going to get down and make it as close as possible. So that's really what happened. And then as far as the unselfishness, it's just like, you know, of course, as, you know, competitors in this game, we all want to, you know, have success and, you know, have certain accolades and, you know, things, you know, we work hard. That's what we do. But the main goal is it's a team sport. So, you know, like I said, Super Bowl is better than any individual accolade that I could possibly have. So for me to be in that moment, embrace that moment, and, you know, like I said, go through everything that I went through with the knee and the comebacks and all that stuff, and then right there at the end, be able to do that, it was an amazing feeling. And, you know, celebrating after my teammates, after putting all that work in at St. Joe's throughout the year, facing all the adversity we faced, and then, you know, being able to hold the Super Bowl trophy up. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about right there.
Matt and I will tell that story, though, as long as we can.
Yeah.
Now, you talked about how you love helping this team win in a variety of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you a this or that, okay? Would you rather have like a 3rd and 17 like there was against San Francisco last year where it's a quick little screen, you pick up the first down, and Nick Bosa's like, you got to be kidding me, man.
It depends who the team is because that was a little different.
Well, fair enough. But here's the other one for you. Or like against the Raiders last year where you flip Divine Diablo over in pass protection and Pat throws a touchdown. Which of those do you prefer?
The pass blocking.
Okay. I love it.
I'm not the biggest dude. I'm not the biggest dude in the room, so I take it past him. I take great pride in my pass pro. It's something that I've never done in college, and I had to really focus and hone in when I came into the league on. So I take a lot of pride in that. So, yeah, I'm definitely going with the pass pro. I'll take that any day.
You like flipped him over. He's like, Probably
Yeah.
has like 50 pounds on you. No big deal.
You got to set the tone. These guys is big. They try to be bullies. You got to set the tone.
I love it.
Sprayberry, you need to be proud of one of your greatest alums. I know in the Chiefs Kingdom, we're very proud of him. Jerick McKinnon, it's a good week to talk to the Jet when you play the Jets. So this edition of Defending the Kingdom, and thanks to Jerick McKinnon, what a remarkable dude that guy is.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
He's awesome. To me, he epitomizes the mentality of this team. And I think it's so cool, the mindset that he's had throughout his career, where started off great, had some things that were out of his control happen, but it didn't deter him, didn't end his journey by any means. He found a home here in Kansas City, and man, he's making the most of it for sure.
And I'm glad I got to redirect that Georgia Southern alum at the NFL draft downtown. It's like, dude, you got Jerick McKinnon, a Super Bowl champion from your school. All right, let's just talk a little bit here. And this edition is called All Aboard. Think about the old movies, right, with the old train, like All Aboard. But we're riding the jet to play the Jets. But still, this is a Jets team. Let's talk about the Chiefs' unselfishness here and what's going to be required of all of the pass catchers against this New York team. Because if you're going to look at how the Jets could spring an upset here on Sunday Night Football, it would be fueled by their defense, much as it was against the Buffalo Bills in Week 1. They forced Josh Allen into 5 turnovers. But the pass catchers this week, Jerick McKinnon and everybody else who's going to be eligible to catch a pass, and we know that the ball is going to come their way at one time or another, has to deal with a very aggressive defense in a group that has been, I'll just put it this way, it's the best back seven the Chiefs will have played so far this year, and their secondary is really good, led by Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, this Jets defense is really, really good. It's one of the reasons that the Jets felt that they can go out and add Aaron Rodgers and have a real shot at the Super Bowl, is the play of their defense. And they've been pretty good so far this year, particularly in Week 1. Now, looking at the Chiefs offensively, what was different about Week 3 compared to Week 1 and 2? Well, we got rid of all the self-inflicted stuff. That's what we were hoping for, that we would see this offense go out and be efficient and effective and do what we know they can do without playing behind the chains constantly or turning the football over. Look at the Jacksonville game. The Chiefs had 12 penalties in that game, constantly behind the sticks, and they had 3 giveaways. Now, they won, which is a testament to them and their mentality as a championship team, but it's very difficult to win football games against good teams when you're doing that. The game against Chicago was a total opposite. It's exactly what we wanted to see. It was a game where they really weren't penalized much at all. They went right up and down the field. After that opening punt on their first drive, they had 7 straight scoring drives going into the third quarter until Patrick Mahomes and a bunch of the starters came out, and that included 5 touchdown drives. They're super efficient. They're 10 of 14 on third down, 5 of 5 in the red zone. And that's important because this Jets defense has been kind of like a bend but don't break kind of defense this year. They're number 11 scoring defense in the NFL. They're 20th in yards allowed, 21st on third down, but it's the number 4 red zone defense in the NFL. So for the Chiefs in this game, don't shoot yourself in the foot because this Jets defense will make you pay. But love what I saw last week. Let's keep that rolling here into this game.
But all of these pass catchers from McKinnon all the way through the list of 11 or 12 or 13 eligible for this game will have to deal with a physical group. Chicago played a lot of zone. Guys were getting free releases and able to do, but the Chiefs did an excellent job of recognizing that. Like we saw it with Rashee Rice. We saw it with Sky Moore. I love the way that you mentioned his ascension here. His play against Jacksonville at the pylon for the touchdown is not a scheme play. I'm not rubbing him open like corn dog. He's got to make a play on a back shoulder throw. Awesome throw by Pat. But that's a step forward for Sky to make that play and get a touchdown in the red zone. Now, it'll be even harder to do this week. I'll tell you who else is having a heck of a year. 2 guys in that secondary that are physical and tough and want to rip the ball out from your flesh is Jordan Whitehead. We saw him in Super Bowl 55 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing exactly that, right? And he had 3 interceptions so far this year in one game, basically. The other is a K-Stater, DJ Reed, who came over to the Jets. They picked him up. Remember, there's a lot of San Francisco defensive feel to this team because of Robert Saleh. And DJ Reed came over and is a heck of a player and a great compliment to Sauce Gardner, who was the rookie defensive player of the year last year in the entire National Football League. Physical, I look for them to press the Chiefs more. I look for them to try to confuse the Chiefs, showing man, go to zone, zone, go to man, and then just try to rip the ball out if you try to catch it. This is a big game for the pass catchers for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what you can't do is give this Jets defense confidence and excitement and encourage them as the game goes on with like things like mistakes or not being able to move the football, because that's what happened to Buffalo in week 1. Buffalo thought they had that game, right? Aaron Rodgers gets hurt 4 snaps into the game. Well, they turn the ball over and over again. And that gives the Jets defense life, and it gives the Jets offense an opportunity consistently to go and score points. And for the Jets to win that game like they did, it was truly magical for them. They needed it, right? But why were they able to do it? Well, Buffalo kept putting them in position to take the lead or to tie the game or to have a chance. And for the Chiefs in this game, both on offense and defense, you can't allow that to happen. You can't let the snowball get going down the mountain for New York defensively, because they are so talented. So if they have hope in this game, like, hey, we can win this game, we can stick with these guys because they're having success early or they force a couple turnovers, that's where this Jets defense is really dangerous, because they're very talented and they're very aggressive.
That accentuates your point about staying ahead of the sticks, the football vernacular. The Chiefs are 21st in the league right now in first down offense. A lot of that is a factor of those penalties. But this is a game, if you want to chart it, first down offense is almost as important as third down offense against a Jets team that likes to push you back. He's Matt McMullen, senior team reporter. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Yes, it's all aboard this week as the Chiefs head to Gotham to take on the Jets.